she'd felt, and how much she'd missed her sister. That hadn't changed. Serina's separation from Nomi hurt more keenly and more deeply than her broken ribs and bullet wound. Cliff carried the bucket to the edge of the cracked stone amphitheater, where Mount Ruin's hardy yellow grass waved in the breeze. Another woman, bent and weary from the night's work, gathered the dirty scraps of cloth they'd used to scrub the stone. Serina wiped sweat from her forehead with the back of her hand. Nomi. Serina needed to come up with a plan. Nomi was trapped in Bellaqua, one of 3 graces for the Superior's heir. Not that long ago, Serina had wanted exactly what Nomi had, a life of luxury and beauty on the arm of the most powerful man in Viridia. But to her sister, that life was a prison as real as Mount Ruin, and Serina was determined to liberate her. Annika and Val appeared at the top of the amphitheater with a rusty cart laden with large burlap bags, the rations Commander Ricci had hoarded. As they pushed the bounty down the aisle toward Serina, a line of women gathered behind them, spreading out along the swaths of volcanic rock that had poured over one section of stone benches. More filed in from the base of the theater, where a handful of women had been resting against the wall of the observation tower. All told, Serina guessed there were 150 women still here, still alive, give or take a dozen. Most of them stared hungrily at the cart of burlap bags. Val and Annika stopped when they reached the dais at the bottom of the amphitheater. Val's unruly brown hair curled in every direction around his tan face. His jaw was bruised, his neck streaked with dirt. Serina smiled at him a little giddily. He'd had the chance to escape, to leave her behind. But he hadn't. He'd stayed and helped them. He noticed her expression, and his own face relaxed into a grin. "How do you want us to distribute the extra rations?" Annika asked. Long streaks of morning sun gilded her rich brown skin. One of her eyes had swollen shut, and tufts of hair had pulled free of her tight braids, but she stood with the same confidence, the same defiance she'd shown from the moment she'd arrived on the island. Serina had heard a rumor that the women of Hotel Misery had tried to name her Shade, but she'd refused to answer to anything but Annika, saying her name was the only thing her mother had given her that no one could take away. It was Annika whom Serina had submitted to, rather than killed, when it had been their time to fight. That moment had started all of this, had put a target on Serina's back. If Commander Ricci hadn't tried to make her fight again, maybe there never would have been an uprising. "The food will be easier to share fairly if we all stay together in one camp," Serina said. "Do you think Hotel Misery is big enough for all of us?" They'd already set up an infirmary of sorts in one of the old ballrooms on the first floor. Serina would be happy if she never had to sleep another night in the lava tube her crew had called home. Oracle hadn't seemed to care about the sulfuric winds off the caldera, or how close it was to the living part of the volcano, but the rock had always felt like it was pressing down on Serina, and she'd never been able to forget that rushing lava had carved out the space, and could pour down upon them at any moment. Annika glanced at the other women of her crew. In the hours after the fight, when their leader, Slash, had been killed, Annika had stepped in, shouting orders as she helped Val haul the 7 surviving guards to the compound. She turned back to Serina and nodded. "We have room." "How can we trust Hotel Misery?" someone asked. "They'll kill us all in our beds." Serina found the source of the voice in the crowd, a woman in her 20s with a sweep of white blonde hair and a pinched, angry pink face. "What's your name?" Serina tensed her leg muscles to keep herself from swaying. She was so tired. "Fox," the woman spat. "I'm in charge of Jungle Crew now that Venom is dead." She turned her glare on Annika. "Thanks to her." "Venom killed plenty of us," another sharp voice replied. A rumble of voices built, insistent and angry as a wasp's nest. "Hey," Serina called, raising her hands for silence. "That violence was demanded by the commander, remember? Annika didn't kill Venom by choice. None of us killed by choice."